Speaker-VVA, Chapter 1067, Huntsville, Alabama.
Good evening. How's everyone?
All right.
First, I want to thank you guys for your service to our country. I graduated from high school in 1976, so most of you guys have already been in Vietnam and already came back. So thank you very much for your service. I'm a Navy vet. I spent 28 years in the Navy, and I was a hospital corpsman. I'm married to a Navy vet. She spent 22 years in the Navy. I have a son who was in the Army for 14 years. I told him he went to the dark side, but that's okay. My son got 5 combat tours. He did 3 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. Wow. And, I have a daughter who works for the VA. She helped verify records and stuff. So my whole family, we think about service to our country. We feel like it's our obligation and responsibility to serve our country. Okay? I work at the Alabama National Cemetery. I'm the administrative officer. The director is Mr. Eldon Woody. Our other director, Quincy Whitehead, she left and went to Chicago. And she's in charge of about 8 cemeteries there. The cemetery official name is the Alabama VA National Cemetery or the Alabama National Cemetery. We have no affiliation with any other organization here in the Birmingham area. Okay, we are a government facility, and it's free to all veterans, their spouses, and our children who are 23 years old and younger, or if you have a dependent child who's, regardless of their age, if they were born with a disability or they had a disability prior to their 21st birthday, i.e. like if they have Down syndrome, something like that, okay? The cemetery is located at 3133 Highway 119 in Montevallo. It's right down from the American Village. We're open at 8 o'clock in the morning and we close at 4:30. We do not bury you on the weekend unless you're a KIA. If you're a KIA and you're killed in Iraq or Afghanistan, we will bury you whenever the family wants, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. We'll close on Thanksgiving and we'll close on Christmas Day. All throughout the year we're open. Our hours are 8 o'clock in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. Our burials run every 45 minutes, okay? Every 45 minutes. We have 479 acres, which means we have enough space for the next 50 years, and we have enough space for over 200,000 veterans and our family members. So we're not gonna run out of space, okay? And, a wife and a husband and a wife can be buried in the same grave. Whoever dies first is buried at the bottom half of the grave. Whoever dies second is buried at the top half of the grave. If the veteran dies first, the veteran is buried at the bottom half. If the wife dies first, she's buried at the bottom half. If the veteran is married 3 or 4 times and all of his spouses precede him in death, they are all eligible to be buried at the National Cemetery. Take it for instance, well, I'll give you a story. There was this veteran in Florida. He got married. His first wife died. She had a disease and she died. She was buried in the Florida National Cemetery. He got married again. His second wife died. She was buried in the same grave with the first wife. He got married one more time. Guess what happened to his third wife? She passed away. So now he got 3 wives buried at the Florida National Cemetery, and he's still alive. Okay? We have 479 acres, like I said. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas for casket remains. Okay, we have 2 areas for cremations. Okay. In-ground cremations. Then we have an area for above-ground cremations, which we have 2,700 niches, and that's called a columbarium. So we have 2,700 spaces there. Right now, we've only used approximately 400. Okay. Our first burial was June 25th, 2009. As of September 11th, we have buried over 6,500, and that's September 11th of this year. We have buried over 6,500 veterans and our family members, okay? And we're not running out of space. Okay, now I have a couple of questions for you guys. How many guys here know where they're going to be buried by a show of hands? Okay, by a show of hands, how many people don't care where they're going to be buried? Okay, by a show of hands, how many people think that it's not your problem, that it's the family's problem, you know, and you can care less? 90% of the veterans who come to the cemetery, who we talk to, they're guys, males. They tell us, we don't care. It's no big deal. At one time, I felt the same way. When I was younger, I felt that I don't care. No big deal to me. Well, just the other day, I was sitting at my desk, and we got a call from another cemetery. That cemetery is Fort Mitchell National Cemetery, and it falls under us. The veteran that passed away, his spouse told the funeral home director, I don't have any money to bury my husband, okay? I can't bury him. The children didn't have any money. So we have left with a dilemma of trying to bury a veteran who has served his country, who was wounded in combat, who had a Bronze Star. He could not be buried because the family didn't have any money because nobody cared, right? So they called me. We was trying to find a way. They couldn't afford a casket, even the one that cost $500 to $600. They couldn't afford for him to be embalmed. They couldn't afford any of those things. So we had to come up with a plan. As you guys know, everything at the National Cemetery is free. Y'all know that, right?
Right.
Okay, tell me what's free. Everything is free. The grave is free.
There you go.
The vault inside the grave is free. The opening and closing is free. The headstone is free. And the perpetual care. When I say perpetual care, I mean forever and ever, amen. As long as that's the United States of America, you know, you can be buried free. Okay? So, this veteran, like I said, his family couldn't afford anything, so we had to come up with a plan. All those things I just said was free. So now, right, we needed to embalm him. However, according to the state of Alabama, you don't need to be embalmed if you are buried within 48 hours, okay? 24 to 48 hours, if you live in the state of Alabama, you don't need to be embalmed. According to the state of Alabama, we can place your remains in a shroud. You guys know what a shroud is, right? It's a sheet that we can wrap your remains in. Not us at the cemetery, but the funeral home, okay? So what we decided to do and what the funeral home decided to do, they decided to provide us with a container that we can place his remains in with the possibility of him not being embalmed. He'll get transported by the funeral home, and then we'll do everything for free at the cemetery. And I say that to say, it is your responsibility to take care of yourself and your family and to provide some type of plan for your death, okay? Because how many of you guys think we're gonna leave this planet alive? How many of you guys think that when you die, you're not really gonna die, but your physical body is gonna keep on walking around? So based on that consensus, I think that all of you guys know that you're gonna die one day, right? So then let's prepare. Okay? Prepare. The spouses, where are the spouses? Can you raise your hands if you're a spouse? Do you guys know where your husband DD-214 is? Okay? The guys, do all of you know where your DD-214s are? How many of you guys DD-214 got burned in the fire?
My wife got all my copies, so she knows she won't have a problem.
Okay.
In the records fire at St. Louis?
Yes. How many of you guys don't have a DD-214? Okay. Most people, when they pass away, you know, the family is excited. They get upset. You know, they run around. They don't know where the paperwork is, right? They really don't. How many of you guys are so calm that if your spouse passed away, you'll know how to go to the drawer, get the paperwork, take it out, and go to the funeral home? How many of you guys are so calm you can do that?
I did it.
Okay. I commend you guys because 8 times out of 10, when someone passes away, the veteran or the spouse don't know where the paperwork is. They get to the funeral home and they ask the funeral home director, say, where's the paperwork? I don't have my DD-214. I can't find it. I don't have anything. What do you think the next step is going to be?
Go to the government to get one.
Go where?
go to the, your, documents and get a copy.
Actually, if you can't find your DD 214, don't fret. Don't worry. You can go to the funeral home and tell them, like, say if I died today and my wife can't find my DD 214, I still can get buried at the National Cemetery. There's over 200 documents that will identify me as a service member. And that's for all of you guys in here. There's over 200 documents. So if you can't find your DD 214, don't fret. And then, if you don't have any paperwork, the funeral home, they're supposed to still call the scheduling center and say that I have Herman Watkins here who just passed away and his family wants him to be buried at the National Cemetery. They in turn call the scheduling center. The scheduling center, the onus falls on the VA to verify and validate that you are a service member. Okay? Go for honorable discharge. Okay? If you have an OTH, do you think you can be buried at the National Cemetery? Okay, how many of you guys know what an OTH is? Okay, good. Do you think that you can be buried at the National Cemetery with an OTH?
Yes.
Yes. Anybody say no? The young man who just said yes is correct. The only discharge that will prevent you from being buried at the National Cemetery is a dishonorable discharge. If you have a dishonorable discharge, you can't be buried. Also, if you get if you get accused of a capital crime and found guilty, you'll not be eligible to be buried at the National Cemetery. Okay? Let me tell you a story. And it's about honesty and being forthright. That was this veteran who got discharged from the military. Okay, he did a good job. He served 4 years. He got an honorable discharge. While he was out, he committed a capital crime. And this was in the 50s or the early 60s. However, at the time, the crime that he committed was not called a capital crime. Okay? But he got incarcerated for that. And while he was in jail, he got married. Well, a couple of years ago, he passed away. And the spouse told the funeral home she wanted her husband to be buried at the National Cemetery. He got, his remains got embalmed. He got the casket. He had a big funeral, and he was coming to the funeral home. As his body was coming aboard the cemetery grounds, we got a telephone call from Washington indicating to us that he had committed a crime in the early 60s or late 50s. However, at the time, it was not called a capital crime. Also, while his remains were at the funeral home director found out that he committed this crime, but they didn't tell us. His spouse found out he committed this crime, or she knew. They didn't tell us. What do you think happened to his remains?
He didn't get buried.
That's right. As he was coming aboard the ground, my boss and I, we got a telephone call. We had to call the spouse in, and we had to sit down and tell her that her husband cannot be buried at the Alabama National Cemetery or any other national cemetery in the continental United States or Hawaii or in France or any other place that there's a national cemetery. Okay? So, consequently, she could have a memorial service, but they had to take the remains back to the funeral home and wait till we got approval to bury him. Do you think we ever got approval? No. Okay. And I just want you guys to understand, be forthright, be honest with your discharge and your service to our country. Okay?
Question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have any information about the changes they're making to being buried at the National Cemetery? I received something from the Department of the Army not too long ago, I guess maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, that suggested or said that they were looking at making major changes to whether or not certain people are going to be able to be buried at Arlington.
Okay, let me tell you. At Arlington. See, Arlington falls under the Department of the Army. The Alabama National Cemetery.
So they have nothing to do with this.
The Alabama National Cemetery falls under the Department of the VA. Now we are both national cemeteries. However, Arlington has different rules than the National Cemetery. Okay.
I didn't know.
So whatever Arlington says, you have to go to Arlington's website.
Okay.
Okay. And then It's just different. It's different rules.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any choice about what states,
Oh, yes, you do. Every state, I shouldn't say every state, but every state that has a national cemetery, like whether it's Alaska, Washington, Florida, or whatever, Tennessee, if you want to be buried there, you can. You just tell your family. The Alabama National Cemetery does not belong to the state of Alabama. It happens to be a federal organization in the state of Alabama, and any veteran, regardless of where you are in the 50 states, including Hawaii, can be buried at the National Cemetery, as long as you meet the qualifications, okay? It is a national cemetery. It doesn't belong to any of us per se. It belongs to the public, the whole United States of America. Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier in the discussion, you mentioned Fort Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
What's the relationship between Fort Mitchell and?
Fort Mitchell belongs to Alabama National. It's a sub-cemetery at Alabama National. The director, he's in charge of Alabama National, Fort Mitchell, and we're going to get another cemetery, which is at Fort McClellan. That cemetery is ran by the Department of the Army right now, and it's going to fall under the Alabama National Cemetery, which include a POW cemetery as well. Okay. Then we have a state cemetery in the state of Alabama. That falls under the state of Alabama, and it has different rules and regulations as well.
question?
Yes, sir.
My wife was thinking about, she wants to be buried in Texas.
Yes.
Does that national cemetery allow us to be buried together?
You have to find out what that cemetery rules are. Like our rules at the Alabama National Cemetery, the veteran and the spouse can be buried in the same grave. If both the veteran and the spouse are veterans, they both can have their own grave side by side. But if they choose to be buried in the same grave, they can. A veteran and his spouse who's not a veteran, they be buried in the same grave. Whoever dies first is buried in the bottom half. Whoever dies second is buried in the top half. Okay? If a spouse is cremated and the veteran is buried in the casket, if the veteran dies first, we will disinter that veteran and place that veteran in the same grave with the spouse. Okay? So, regardless of how you look at it, if you're buried in the same cemetery, you will be buried side by side or in the same grave. Now, if somebody is buried in Alabama and Tennessee, then you guys will have your own grave. Say, for instance, my wife, she decides she doesn't want to be buried in the same state with me, right? so she buried me in Alabama. Then she get buried in Tennessee, Texas, Colorado, or someplace else because she don't want to have anything else to do with me.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
You said you could be buried in any of them, but from the funeral home, say if it was here, the family had to pay to transport the
That's the
body,
catch.
right?
You can do whatever you like. You can go wherever you want, but it costs. Everything that happens at the cemetery is free, but to get from point A to point B, you got to pay. Okay? Remember that. You can do whatever you want, as long as it's within the rules and regulations of the National Cemetery, but you're going to have to pay. Because how many of you guys have buried loved ones? Now, you know that when you go to the funeral home and you want to change your loved one clothes, you got to pay. You want to fix their hair, you got to pay. Okay? You want to put them in a white, casket with 6 white horses, you got to pay. Okay? Just remember, as a young E6 making chief, I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina as a hospital foreman. One of my responsibilities was to go to the funeral home and make sure that the Marine or sailor was embalmed properly. And the funeral home director said to me, he said, there was 2 individuals who was ready to be buried there. Both of them were civilians. He said, Herman, what's the difference between this person and this person? One person had a blue cloth casket that cost approximately $500 at the time. The other person had a mahogany casket that cost approximately $2,000 plus. Now you tell me, what's the difference between those 2 individuals?
They both dead.
they were both dead, but however, they were both loved by their family.
Right.
Okay? It does not matter if you pay $1,000 for that casket or $10,000. We will take just as good care of your loved one, regardless. Okay? Okay,
Question.
yes, sir.
I understand your, the reasoning behind it, but you take an individual that served 2 years, 4 years, 20 years, honorably discharged, gets out, creates a felony. What does that felony have to do with his service?
Okay. I served 28 years in the military, and as a hospital foreman, as a sailor, attached to Marines, my core values were honor, courage, commitment. They taught us integrity. Integrity is defined as something we would do regardless of whether someone is watching or someone is not. Our service to our country is a responsibility and an obligation. The benefits we receive are the benefits that our country give us if we live an honorable and decent life. If you kill someone or you rape a child, any of those things, those are the capital crimes. We lose our eligibility as far as our benefits, monetary items, and so forth and so on. Now, in different parts of the VA, you don't lose certain things, other parts you lose. But if you take a life, or if you commit sodomy, you forfeit the part of your benefits, which are written under our laws in the VA. And we understand that a veteran served honorably for his country. But however, when you have core values, honor, courage, commitment, integrity, intestinal fortitude, those type things, we do not do crimes like capital crimes. Now, if you rob someone, if you steal a car, those type things, you're still eligible to be buried in the National Cemetery. If you serve time in jail and you get out, you're still eligible to be buried in the National Cemetery. However, if you commit a capital crime and you were going to be found guilty prior to your death, you lose that right. Now, if you kind of slip through and get buried there anyway, the VA has laws. It may take a while, but they have the capability of disinterring people from national cemeteries.
I understand, and believe me, I don't have any of them.
Right.
I just wanted
I understand.
to be clear.
I understand. You're very clear, and I respect that. And thank you. Yes. Yes, sir.
Listen to his question. My question to you, since you've been in this field, the things that VA have put in their rules and rights after a person is honorably discharged, has anything ever come up to question whether that's constitutional?
Well, sir, I really can't answer that. No, I don't think I have. How can I say? I don't have the knowledge or the legal mind to answer
I'm
that.
not in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you to talk
I'm
to
not
you.
in.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, when someone passed away, the first thing you need to do, like I said before, make sure you got the documents. Then you need to take that document to the funeral home. The funeral home in turn will fax a copy of your paperwork to the scheduling center. Then the scheduling center, the funeral home would then call the scheduling center and they will schedule your burial. Okay? So when they do that, the family has to decide when they want that loved one to be buried, whether it's 9:30 in the morning or whether it's 2:45 in the afternoon. Okay? Once you guys decide that, then you have your service at a church or the funeral home. Then they bring your remains to the cemetery. You have honors. The funeral home and the family are the ones who call for honors for you. You know, we at the cemetery, we can't call for honors because we're not a family and we're not the funeral home. So the cemetery cannot call for honors. The honors is ran by the Department of Defense. They decide whether you get a 2-man team, a 6-man team, or what have you. The Alabama National Cemetery doesn't decide. Now, when I was coming in, I saw the van out there, and it said the honor van. Now, is that honor van transport patients, or is that the honor guards van?
Honor guard.
Okay, then my suggestion to anyone here who only would get a 2-man team, because a 2-man team is for any veteran that serves 4 years, 2 years, 6 years. Quote unquote, the full honors belong to those veterans who got, awards for heroism or for being 20 years in the military. Because of the state of our country right now, a lot of times those veterans do not get full honors. So my suggestion to you guys, if someone passes away and they deserve full honors, contact those guys that belong to that team. Because 8 times out of 10, you're only going to get a 2-man team. Because, like, I'll take me for instance. When I pass away, if I'm in the state of Alabama and we call Bessemer, I may only get a 2-man team, even though I did 28 years in. Okay, and that's just the way it is, sir.
Why was that?
Okay, in Bessemer right now, they don't have enough personnel, Navy personnel.
Fort Rucker has been providing Huntsville, Alabama, with an honor guard now for.
I'm only saying I can't disagree with anything you say.
Is it everything though, Dick?
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with what you guys are saying. But what I'm saying is this right here. If the Navy at Bessemer don't have enough personnel for full honors, if they do not, and you're a sailor and your family wants full honors, make sure that you contact these guys here or try to tell when you call for honors, can they go to another location? Can they get other sailors from another command outside of this area?
Question.
Yes.
I'm a 20-year veteran, Air Force. I understand that I could be buried in uniform.
That is
And
correct.
the government will issue a uniform for my burial.
And see, I really can't comment on that. What I can tell you is we would give you the grave free, the vault free, the opening and closing of the grave, the headstone and perpetual care. I want you guys to understand, right, that in the VA, we have 3 departments. We have VHA, which is the hospital. We have VBA, which is the benefits. And we have NCA, which is the cemetery. The sole responsibility of the cemetery is to bury veterans and our family members. We have one purpose and one purpose only, is to bury veterans. When it comes down to the honors, that falls under the DOD. When it comes down to the benefits, that falls under the VBA. When it comes down to the health care, that falls under the hospitals. When it comes down to the burials, I'm an expert on that. I've been doing it for 10 years, and plus when I was on active duty, I was helping burying veterans. So quote unquote, I'm an expert, right? That's what I'm an expert at. I'm not an expert at cutting hair. I'm not an expert at shaving. I'm not an expert at any of those things. So I really can't answer those questions about benefits or like if you get a uniform, who's going to pay for that uniform? I can't answer those questions, but I can answer the part about the cemetery. Okay, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Does any of the paperwork you submit have to be notarized?
No. Okay, we don't validate whether or not you're married or not. We don't validate if that's your spouse. We don't validate, whether or not that's your legal spouse or you guys were just together for 10 years living in the same household. The only time we ask those questions, if you come to me and you say, my name is Herman Watkins, and I've been living with my wife, just this year, okay? And Alabama has a state, what's the term when you're married with someone? You were living with someone? A common law, right? That's what it's called. Alabama just passed a law in January of this year or January 2017. They no longer recognize common law marriages. Prior to 2017 to January 2017, they recognized common law marriages, right? Yeah. So if you come to the Alabama National Cemetery and you tell me that's your spouse and she been living with you February 2017, guess what? She cannot be buried. Because remember the law was passed.
When was it passed?
January 2017. Okay? It's not retro, just like you said, it's not retroactive. So if you come to me, whatever you say to me is what I'm gonna go with. Okay? Because we take it that when you come to us and tell us that, hey, this is my spouse, that's your spouse. I don't ask for a marriage certificate. I don't ask for any of that. If you tell me your spouse died on January 23rd, 2017, and my paperwork says January, the day before, I'm not going to argue with you because you're the one that's visiting that grave. Okay, I would take what you say as gospel. Now, once you tell me something different, or I find something different, then I have to do whatever action I need to take. Okay?
So you're saying if they die now, but they were living together before that date in 17, maybe even going back 10 years or whatever, then they're qualified.
That's right. That's right. And then they have to certify. If they tell me that they just got together, this year, they don't meet the qualifications. But we have specific rules and regulations that we have to follow.
What about the spouse's casket?
The caskets are paid for by the family. We don't pay for any caskets. We don't pay for the embalming. We don't pay for the transportation, and we don't pay for the services. Everything that happens at the cemetery, we pay for, like the grave, the vault inside the grave, the opening and closing of the grave, the headstone, and the perpetual care.
Except for what about cremation? You do?
We don't pay for the cremation, but we bury the cremains.
You pay for the headstone, do you pay for the engraving?
Yeah, hold on for 1 second. Yes, sir.
I want to go back to that story you were telling earlier about the veteran was too poor to be buried, all these honors and things
Yes.
you wanted to military. What if that guy was in Vietnam and was exposed to herbicide and all these things happened to him and he didn't have that right money to have this done by his family? And if he had a wife and he had all that, maybe some of his ailments could have been caused by his death from serving in the jungle over there. Did anybody follow it up with the wife to see if she's into any kind of entitlements if he was in the jungle and was exposed to herbicide?
Those things were suggested. According to the National Cemetery Administration, we have a program. It's the Indigent Homeless Veteran Program. Say, for instance, if my wife left me and my children didn't want to ever speak to me again, and I didn't have a place to live, and I was sleeping in my car, and I died, I'll be eligible for what we call the Indigent Veteran Program or Homeless Veteran. What the VA would do for that homeless or indigent veteran is they will pay for us to be embalmed. They will pay for us to be transferred from the funeral home to the cemetery. They will get honors for us, and they will pay for our casket, which is a 20 gauge metal casket, approximately 19, 20 feet, something like that. And that is for homeless and indigent veterans. When a veteran dies and the family is poor or don't have enough money, the funeral homes, what they do, they offer to assist the veterans or family in burying their loved one. It's not mandatory for them to do that. What we try to tell families is that reach out to those funeral homes. There's no program in place right now for NCA to help a person bury their loved one if they lack the funds. We just try to point them in the right direction, and then we try to tell them, go to the VA hospital, see if they have a plan. Go to the VBA and see if they have a plan. But mostly what we do is tell them to call, like over at Bushlawn Funeral Home, someplace like that, to see if they have a program. But these funeral homes it's not mandated that they bury those veterans.
But you said that this great burial place from Alabama is still in VA. Was that still in VA when you have a veteran who's too poor?
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
You said this Alabama cemetery is all through the VA.
Right, it's through the National Cemetery Administration owned by the VA, yes.
Okay.
But if he's indignant, that is.
No, indigent. If he's indigent.
They have no money.
Okay, I want you guys to understand.
We understand you.
I want y'all to understand a couple of things. Lacking the funds, the family lacking the funds, do not qualify that veteran to be indigent, right? because he has a family. The indigent program is for a veteran who is alone, homeless, and he doesn't have any family. The indigent veteran is someone like who sleeps in a car, sleeps under the bridge. He's walking and he has no loved ones. He's only by himself. Say for instance, like let's take me for instance. If my family do not do the right thing and save any money for me to be buried, and they don't have insurance for me to be buried, right? And they want a funeral, and the funeral costs like $1,000, then my family, because they can't afford it, then they ask our friends or someone else to help bury me, or instead of having me buried in a casket, they have me cremated, because instead of the funeral being $10,000, it's now down to $1,000. In this veteran's case, the family lacked the funds, and they was asking around to bury this veteran at a national cemetery. So we was trying to help the family to bury this veteran by telling the family what they needed to do or whom they can talk to, because we can't pay for the funeral or we can't pay for the embalming, but we can very well offer the free grave.
Now, what I wanted to say when I stood up, that veteran you gave that narrative about earlier, if he was a Vietnam veteran and he had a wife there that didn't have the money to do that, what if he had a disability that caused him to be that ill health? Do they go back to help the wife get DIC because he didn't know that was awarded, could be awarded to him?
She can go to the VBA and talk to Mr. Corey Hawthorne, who's in charge of the VBA in Montgomery, and then she can seek benefits through him.
But what I'm asking, when you all doing that service, is anybody direct her to do that from you all?
As far as I know, nobody on our end, because like I said before, I'm NCA, and they did not ask, and we did not get that part of the story.
So his don't ask. Don't tell.
No. See, what you're trying to do, right, is put us in a position that you're trying to make a case that no one offered to tell the spouse where to go. But see, that's not part of the scenario right here. Your scenario needs to go to BBA, Mr. Corey Hawthorne. You need to call him and ask him what are the benefits, right? What she wanted to know and what the family wanted to know, they did not have the funds to bury that individual. So they wanted to know what could we do to assist. And accordingly, we did everything that we could based on what we know. Now, her benefits or his benefits, they have to go to the VBA. When you want information with the VHA, you have to go there, okay? It's not that we ignore or we don't love veterans, because all of us are veterans. So those issues you guys have to address to the proper personnel. Get someone from the VBA to come here and ask those questions. Get someone from the VHA, ask those questions. Or go down to those facilities and ask those questions.
Well, they do a town hall meeting here probably.
Oh, we're gonna do one in Tuscaloosa. We're gonna do one in Tuscaloosa, I think, next week. Okay, but you have to be when you have questions, you have to come intelligently, no anger, no frustration. I understand as a veteran, right? We don't get all the things that we need, but the veterans, the guys who work at the cemetery and other places, we are here to help veterans. If a veteran's family don't have the funds, we are there to assist. You know, there's funeral homes out there who provide veterans' families out of the goodness of our heart, because they're veterans serve this country. And hey, this is what I can do to help you, no charge to the family. Or instead of paying $1,000 for your funeral, why don't you pay $200? Why don't you pay $500? Something like that. Okay. Now, app cards. If you guys want research questions, write your questions down, and I'll send them to the proper authorities. Okay. Yes, sir.
What about burial at sea?
Yes, you can be buried at sea, but the family can't go. Okay. Say for instance, like let's take. Let's take the you want to be buried at sea, but it has to be planned. Okay, and we have the number that you can call to plan your burial at sea. But it doesn't happen until after the time you die, and then your family has to get in touch with that number, and they would arrange. And once the service is done, they'll take a picture and then they'll send it to your family with the longitude, latitude, and with the flag. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, as a retiree, I thought we were authorized to casket.
Okay. As a retiree, you're not authorized a casket. As a retiree, your family pays for the casket, the embalming, transportation from point A to point B. As a veteran, a retiree, you're only entitled to the grave, the vault inside the grave, the opening and closing of the grave, the headstone, and the perpetual care. See, and part of the issue that we have as veterans, right? A lot of veterans were told that the United States of America would take care of them forever and ever. Amen. It'll take care of your health. It'll take care of your
Thank you for
fitness.
the amen.
It'll take care of all of those things. But I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you guys, the worst thing a veteran can do, because I have met Vietnam veterans who they tell me, you know, they said, I can't stand the VA. I'm never going back to the VA as long as I live. I know veterans who have passed away, and our spouses said to me, my spouse never went back to the VA. They never got any help from the VA. They never got that disability from the VA. They never got this. They never got that. Let me just tell you guys, right? Forget about that. Go to the VA. Talk to someone. If they don't answer your question, then you talk to the patient advisor there, or you say you want to talk to the guy who's in charge of the hospital, Mr. Smith, right? That's what you need to do. Don't be angry. Don't be frustrated. Be smart. Okay? Because as long as you get angry and say the heck with it and walk out that door, guess what? You still did not get what you want, right? Okay, I've listened to guys say that they didn't get their benefits. One guy said he tried for 10 years to get his benefits, and he did not give up. In the 11th year, he was rated, and he was rated 70% or 80%. Guess what the VA had to do? Retroactive. So what I'm saying to you guys, don't they teach us as veterans, never give in and never give up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, never give in and never give up. Don't argue with me. Do the right thing. Go to VBA, go to NCA, go to the doggone, VHA, and talk to those guys, right? And the spouses. Don't let your veterans give up or give in or get angry, and don't do this, okay?
I wasn't angry at that idiot at Birmingham with the VBA threw me out of his office. And I wasn't angry, I just asked a question.
Okay, what we have.
He said, I'm the boss and I'm the supervisor, get out.
Okay, let's take this for instance. I am the admin officer at the Alabama National Cemetery. If one of the guys at the cemetery tell you certain things, tell you to get out, all you have to do is come talk to me. If I tell you be quiet and get out of my office, guess what you do? You talk to my boss, right? If my boss tells you to be quiet and get out of his office, what do you do? Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. We each have someone we report to. If someone tells you to get out that office, and tell you to deal that boss, etc., etc., etc. What you do, right? You just politely go talk to who that boss is.
I left. I had to catch a bus back to Huntsville.
Yes, question.
Yes, sir.
Talk about a homeless veteran passed
Yes.
away.
Yes.
How is that determined? Is that a process that the coroner goes through, or law enforcement, determine that he's a veteran?
Yes, a lot of indigent veterans do not have ID cards. Okay, so what they tell us, right, is they have an indigent veteran, or they have a veteran that is possibly indigent, right? We tell the funeral home to contact the scapegoating office, right? The scapegoating office has access to the FBI, the archive, and other files. What they do, they try to identify this veteran via, fingerprints, DNA, and stuff like that. Then they run that information through the system. They verify, sir. Exactly. They verify this veteran is a veteran, and then what they do, they start the process. Remember, I said the Indigent Veterans Program. The NCA knew there was a problem there, so they developed this program. They developed another program called the Corey Shea Act. The Corey Shea Act is when a veteran and he's not married and doesn't have any kids, whether it's male or female, is killed in action like Iraq, Afghanistan, their mom or their dad can be buried with them. Okay? Once upon a time, we didn't do that. So the laws change. Don't, just because someone says no today, doesn't mean they're going to say no tomorrow, no next week, because the laws are constantly changing. That's why I always tell you guys, don't give up and don't give in. You know, don't hold what happened 10, 20, 30 years ago. No, now, right, you have benefits that you deserve, right? So don't let anyone take those benefits away from you. Does that make sense? Yeah. If that doesn't make sense to you guys, somebody tell me, please.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, sir.
But it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, do you have questions?
Yes. When you thinking about the spouse and the veteran, is it possible for the veteran to go to the funeral home and to the National Cemetery, get an area, all the form filled out, you need 14 and everything, so you can have it on record at home and just, just go ahead and get everything right away while he's alive?
No, we tell, okay, that's this program that they have is called a pre-need eligibility. Are you guys familiar with pre-need eligibility? Yeah. Okay, that's the form that you fill out that you can do a pre-need. A pre-need just put your information into the system. But if you already got an honorary discharge, your information should be in the system, but it gives you like a few hours, like 24 to 48 hours advantage over everyone else. By your spouse filling out, or you fill out that pre-need eligibility form, she would know what to do. And I can give you my card, so if you need assistance doing that, I can talk to you over the phone or what have you. Okay?
Then pick up the form at the VA.
You can pick up the form at the VA, or you can call, and I'll tell you the number. Do you have a computer?
Yeah.
Then you can go online and you can print it out, or I can mail it to you. But you got my card right here.
Here you go. We'll publish, and Mr. Watkins, we'll publish your number. Hey,
Okay. They will publish the number.
Here you go.
Are there any more questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I've been a member of the American Legion well over 20 years. Lived in Connecticut. Tried to find out what I'm eligible for. My comrades at the American Legion wouldn't tell you nothing, like it was a secret. Okay? I came down here, and through his wife, I met Mac. I was getting 10% in Connecticut. Mac, I don't know how he did it, who he talked to or whatever. I went to 70%. I'm talking to Mr. Knight over there, okay, feels I should be at 100%. It's not a question, there's not enough people like Mr. Knight or Mac that are willing to show, especially these younger guys, how to get their benefits. It's like, it's a secret, we got it, but we ain't gonna tell you. Something needs to be done, and I don't know what, but something needs to be done to help these young fellas.
Okay, all I can say with that, is that I was taught that if you don't know which question to ask, no one's going to answer your question. So you have to know what question to ask. See, there's hundreds and hundreds of things that VA, that the veterans can get. That's thousands of things. That's millions of things that veterans can get. But however, the veterans do not know the right question to ask. Like,
That's why you need Mr.
Exactly. But then, like, when you ask the question, you have to make sure the person who you're talking to will give you the right answer. And I'm going to tell one story. Then I'm going to call it, I said, that's it. We had a young lady who was 80 years old. She was married to a veteran. Her husband died. And a veteran in the organization, like an American League, or the Marine Corps League, or someone told her that her husband was not eligible to be buried at a national cemetery. Okay? Now that person who told her that didn't work at the national cemetery. He didn't work at the VA, but he told her that. So she buried her husband in private cemetery. 2 months later, she called me at the national cemetery, and she said she had not gotten her husband's headstone yet, and where he was buried. I said, well, ma'am, why is your husband buried there? She said because someone told her that he was not eligible, and she buried him there. So I told her he was. I assisted her in going through the right channels. She had to disinter her husband and get him to the Alabama National Cemetery. She paid for the disinterment. She paid for the transportation, to the National Cemetery. Once we got there, everything was free. The reason I'm saying this is if the VBA knows a lot of stuff about the VBA, the VHA knows a lot of stuff about the VHA, the NCA knows a lot of stuff about the NCA. If those three organizations don't assist you, it's your responsibility to try to find the answer. I can't tell you enough. Don't get mad and walk out. Because if I go to a restaurant and I pay for my food, right, and they bring me food that I don't like, I'm just not going to sit there and accept that. I'm going to send the food back and get something that I like. I'm not going to get angry and get up and walk out. Because if I get angry and get up and walk out, what do I have? I paid my money for nothing. So all you guys serve your country, right? All you guys got an honorable discharge, right? So why would you not reap the benefits of what this country has? They're not giving you a handout. They're giving you what you deserve. You got wounded, whether it was mentally or physically. When you went in, you was 18 or 19 years old. When you came out, you had all these injuries, knee problems. If you was a Marine, you ran in your boots. If you was in the Army, you jumped out of planes. Okay? If you was a sailor, you learned how to swim. I'm telling you guys, hey, do not allow the system to make you be one of those guys that they put you out of that office and you don't have the answer that you had. If you think you deserve those benefits, fight for it. Okay? I mean, really, fight for it. Because, fight for it.
If you have any other questions, we're going to channel those through Josh, and we'll get him. He has complete contact with Mr. Watkins. Okay,
and he's got handouts on the table.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you get there. He got plenty more. Man, I'm going to tell you one thing. Now, Mr. Watkins not soliciting the business. Okay. You don't want nobody to come out there early. You got some work to do before you get out there. Okay, sir. I'll tell you what. It's good. We sure appreciate you.
VVA Chapter 1067, Serving Vietnam-Era Veterans. Never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. Thank you for watching.